Your brain, your gut, your heart, your nervous system. Science is proving these aren't separate systems. They are one. And together, they are the true foundation of your health. Welcome to the Brain-Gut Connection podcast. Your host, Dave Bretthauer, guides you through the science of how everything inside you is connected, how your brain talks to your gut, how your heart signals your nervous system, and why your immune system is at the center of all of it. The Brain-Gut Connection podcast. Let's get into today's episode.
Hey, welcome back to the Brain-Gut Connection. I'm Dave, and today we're going to talk about something that should genuinely change the way you think about the word you. Because here's a question worth sitting with. When you say, my body, what are you actually talking about? You have approximately 37 trillion human cells. That's already an incomprehensible number. But scientists have confirmed that you also have approximately 38 trillion microorganisms living in your gut alone. Bacteria, fungi, viruses, archaea. A whole universe of microscopic life that, if you counted them, would match or outnumber your own human cells. 1 to 1. Maybe more bacteria than human. And I want to be clear, that's not a scary thing. That's the whole point. Scientists call this community your microbiome, but that word has been completely hijacked by wellness marketing to the point where most people think it just means take a probiotic and move on. So let's reset from the beginning. Your gut microbiome contains somewhere between 500 and 1,000 different species of bacteria. Not 500 individual bacteria, 500 species. Then add the fungi, the viruses, the archaea. The total number of genes encoded in your gut microbiome is approximately 150 times greater than the total number of genes in your human genome. Let that land. Your microbiome carries 150 times more genetic information than you do. Now here's what matters most. It's not just what's in there, it's the diversity. A gut with 800 different species is dramatically healthier than one with 200, even if the low-diversity gut has more total bacteria in raw numbers. The diversity is what creates resilience. Think of it like a rainforest versus a cornfield. A rainforest has thousands of species, all interlocked, all supporting each other. You lose one, others fill the gap. A cornfield has one species, one pathogen comes through, and the whole thing collapses. That is what a low-diversity gut microbiome looks like. And that's what modern life is quietly creating in millions of people. Here's the list that surprises people. Your immune system. 70 to 80% of your immune system physically lives in your gut. Your gut bacteria are not passive roommates. They are actively training your immune cells. They're determining what your body classifies as a threat and what it tolerates. A disrupted microbiome means a dysregulated immune system. Full stop. Your mood and mental health. Your gut bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids and other metabolites that directly affect your brain through the bloodstream and the vagus nerve, which we're going to cover in depth next week. They're involved in the production of serotonin and dopamine precursors. We talked about gut serotonin in the last episode. The microbiome is a critical part of how that production happens. Your metabolism. Researchers at the Weizmann Institute of Science demonstrated that two people can eat the exact same meal and have completely different blood sugar responses based primarily on their microbiome composition, not their genetics. Two people, same food, wildly different metabolic outcomes. Your inflammation levels. This is the big one for brain health. A healthy, diverse microbiome is directly correlated with lower levels of systemic inflammation, including neuroinflammation. The inflammation inside your brain that's now being connected to depression, cognitive decline, and neurodegenerative diseases. Disrupt your microbiome and you raise inflammation. It's one of the cleaner cause and effect relationships in this field. And your gut lining itself. Your bacteria produce something called butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that feeds and repairs the cells lining your digestive tract. That lining is 1 cell thick. 1 cell standing between the contents of your gut and your bloodstream. No butyrate production, no barrier maintenance. When the barrier breaks down, inflammatory compounds get into the bloodstream. That's been measured, and it's called intestinal permeability. This is not a passive ecosystem. This is an active, communicating, functioning system running processes that affect nearly everything downstream. Here's where it gets uncomfortable, because this is about things most of us do every single day. Antibiotics, the most obvious one. A single course of broad-spectrum antibiotics can wipe out 30 to 50% of your gut bacteria diversity, and in many people, that diversity never fully recovers. Not in days, not in weeks. The NIH Human Microbiome Project found that some species that disappear after antibiotics simply do not come back. I want to be clear, antibiotics save lives. They are not the enemy, but they carry a cost that we almost never account for and most doctors don't discuss. Ultra-processed food. The emulsifiers in ultra-processed foods, the chemicals that keep them shelf-stable, have been shown in multiple studies to directly damage the mucus layer that protects your gut bacteria. It doesn't just feed them poorly. It physically disrupts the environment they live in. Chronic stress. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, doesn't just affect your mood and your sleep. It actively shifts the composition of your gut microbiome. It reduces diversity. It creates conditions that allow opportunistic bacteria to overpopulate. Chronic stress is not just a mental health problem, it's a gut health problem. Low fiber. Your gut bacteria don't eat what you eat. They eat what you can't digest, primarily fiber. If you're eating a low-fiber diet, you're starving the bacteria that produce butyrate, that train your immune system, that synthesize neurotransmitter precursors. They don't just get weak, they die, and something else moves in to fill the space. Disrupted sleep. Your gut microbiome runs on a circadian rhythm. Irregular sleep patterns have been shown to disrupt microbiome composition within days. Here's the bottom line. The microbiome is not fragile by design. It is built to be resilient, but it has a floor, and modern life is systematically pushing millions of people toward that floor. The good news? It's remarkably responsive to change in the right direction, which is exactly where we're going over the next few weeks. Thanks for being here. If this landed for you, share it with someone who could use it to your gut and your glory. I'm Dave. This has been the Brain-Gut Connection.
If today's episode got you thinking, that was the whole point. For show notes, free resources, and the weekly newsletter, visit braingutconnect.com. Find us on Instagram at braingutconnection and subscribe on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Want to reach Dave directly? Email him at dave@braingutconnect.com. He reads every one. Thank you for listening. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Until next time, stay happy, healthy, and educated.